I mean this in the nicest way possible. Put your damn phone down. This is I Mean This in the Nicest Way Possible, and I'm your host, Ram. Be honest with me. How many times a day do you stop what you're doing to check your phone to look at Instagram or TikTok? Now tell me, how many times have you done this when you were supposed to be focusing on something like work or school? And what did you gain from that little detour, besides losing your whole train of thought? But seriously, once I realized how distracting my smartphone had become in my work and everyday life, I started to hate it. I also started noticing just how much we have normalized screen culture in our everyday behavior. Whether we're doing things like scrolling at the dinner table or checking notifications during a meeting, we've normalized being half present. But should we be? Is it even healthy? And are we still here when we do it? On today's episode, I'm gonna get to the bottom of doom scrolling culture. The good, the bad, and the algorithmically ugly. Get ready to judge me as I share my own iPhone usage data, break down the science behind it all, and tell you exactly how I started kicking the habit. I'll even share some tools and routines that actually help. Low dopamine mornings, dumb phones, and what I call the 1950 rule. Let's be so for real. You already know 5G and radiation waves aren't healthy in large doses, so I'm doing you a favor. If you've got a few minutes, let me put you onto something I've been thinking about that you should think about too. I mean this in the nicest way possible. You're welcome. Plain and simple. That little screen you love so much is ruining your fucking life. Your sleep, attention span, relationships, mental health, and even your sex life are taking a hit every time you use your smartphone with less intention. And I'm sorry, but anything affecting my libido has got to go. But seriously, all of this has been proven by experts. Let's get into it. When it comes to your sleep, your phone is totally ruining it. And it's all because of the light. The blue light from your screen tells your brain it's daytime, even when it's midnight. According to Dr. Joanna Cooper, a neurologist and sleep medicine specialist with Sutter Health, that light suppresses melatonin, the hormone that signals your body it's time to sleep. In other words, you're scrolling yourself into insomnia. Dr. Cooper explains that late-night screen use can also keep your brain stimulated, even releasing adrenaline when you should be winding down. So that just one more scroll moment, it's a mini chemical rush that delays your transition to sleep. And it adds up. 2 or more hours of screen time before bed can seriously disrupt your natural sleep rhythm. Her advice? Power down at least an hour before bed, dim your brightness, or switch to night mode. Or honestly, if it's past midnight, act like it's 1950 and pick up a real book instead. Come on, let's get back into reading. Now let's talk about attention, or what's left of it.
So back in 2004, we found the average attention span on any screen to be 2.5 minutes on average. And then in the last 5-6 years, we found it to average about 47 seconds.
That clip you just heard was from Dr. Gloria Mark, a psychologist and professor at UC Irvine who's spent 2 decades studying how tech affects our focus. As she said, the average attention span has dropped from 2.5 minutes to just 47 seconds. That's less time than it takes most of us to decide what to watch on Netflix. Dr. Mark's research shows that the faster we switch between apps, emails, and notifications, the more stress we feel. Our heart rate and blood pressure literally rise with every ping. And each time we switch, there's what she calls a switch cost. We lose time and mental energy just trying to remember what we were doing before we got distracted. Meaning, every time you check your phone mid-task, you're basically rebooting your brain. Dr. Mark also found that short, intentional breaks, real ones, not scroll breaks, actually restore focus and lower stress. The trick is to stop at a natural break point in your work, like finishing a paragraph instead of interrupting yourself mid-sentence. Her advice? Practice self-regulation instead of relying on blockers or guilt. Build your own focus muscles. Or as I like to say, stop multitasking and start main charactering your life again. If you want to know how someone disappears without leaving the room, just watch what a phone can do. There's a concept I love called absent presence. Social psychologist Kenneth Gergen coined it, and author Juliet Funt describes it like this. You're physically in the room, but the second your phone buzzes, you disappear. The person sitting across from you suddenly feels invisible, even if you're technically still there. That moment creates an emotional gap. Your partner doesn't know whether you're checking a text or checking out, and that uncertainty chips away at the connection. Studies out of Baylor University have shown that when one partner consistently prioritizes their phone over face-to-face interaction, relationship satisfaction drops. Partners feel ignored, anxious, even suspicious, like something else always outranks them. Absent presence also changes how we're perceived. As Funt explains, when we drift into our screens mid-conversation, others read it as rude, distracted, or disinterested. It quietly erodes trust and intimacy, replacing closeness with quiet resentment. So yeah, you might not be cheating, but you're still breaking connection. And sometimes the betrayal isn't physical, it's attention itself. Let's be real. Our phones are messing with our heads. According to research summarized by Care New England's Butler Hospital, heavy smartphone use is now so pervasive that cell phone addiction is literally recognized in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. The symptoms sound familiar. Anxiety when you can't check your messages, irritability when you're away from your phone, and that constant itch to scroll for no reason. Psychologists also link high phone use to depression and anxiety, especially among people with major FOMO. Couldn't be me. A 2016 study found that the more time participants spent glued to their phones, the higher they scored in anxiety and depression scales. Why? Because constant online stimulation replaces real connection, and that emptiness doesn't refresh you, it drains you. Then there's the dopamine trap. Every buzz, every notification, triggering a little hit of that reward chemical. And over time, your brain starts releasing dopamine in anticipation of the buzz. You're not scrolling for joy anymore. You're scrolling for chemical maintenance. And you know what I think about that?
Crack is whack.
Thank you, Whitney. Because just like crack, you're anxious when it's near you, anxious when it's not, and too wired to sleep when you finally put it down. Our phones were meant to make us feel connected, but when you really think about it, they've become the loudest source of loneliness in the room. There's a part of your life your phone is quietly sabotaging, and almost no one wants to say it out loud: your sex life. In an article from Vice, writer Lauren Rosewarne points out that while our phones connect us to more people than ever, they've also created what she calls a global sex recession. Studies show that people, especially young adults, are having less sex than previous generations. And as a horny bitch myself, that fucking sounds terrible. The reasons: endless scrolling, constant comparison, and pure exhaustion. Psychologists like Dr. Sharif Malabakis from Fordham University say, we've been trained into continual engagement. We don't know how to just be. And that state of constant distraction doesn't exactly scream foreplay. Clinical experts echo this. The Men's Health Clinic of Australia notes that long hours of screen time can mess with libido, arousal, and even sexual performance. Blue light from phones disrupts sleep, which lowers testosterone and energy. High dopamine spikes from notifications and porn desensitize the brain's reward system. So real intimacy starts to feel underwhelming. Add stress, poor body image, and anxiety from all the comparison culture online, and you've literally got the perfect storm for what researchers call digital dysfunction. And that checks out, because if your phone's the last thing you touch at night and the first thing you reach for in the morning, your sex life probably feels it too. You know what's wild? Phones don't just kill focus or sleep or connection, they kill space. The kind of mental space where ideas happen, where you get bored enough to imagine something new. Somewhere along the way, scrolling became a socially acceptable form of running away. We don't sit with our thoughts anymore, we scroll past them. And for me, that's the part that hit the hardest. I wasn't just distracting myself from the world, I was distracting myself from me. My curiosity, my creativity, my instincts, all of it was getting buried under other people's opinions, faces, filters, and data usage that clocked in at over 10 hours a day. Like, I am fucking embarrassed. We like to call it checking in, but if we're being honest, it's just checking out, one swipe at a time. And when I finally started putting the phone down, I realized silence isn't empty. It's full of ideas waiting to be heard, albums to be recorded, books to be written, and conversations I wanted to have with you on this very podcast. The more I researched, the more I realized this isn't just about phones, it's about escape. When I'm tired, anxious, or avoiding something hard, creatively or emotionally, my phone becomes the perfect decoy. I can scroll instead of think, like instead of feel, and create the illusion of connection while being completely alone. And that's the part nobody really wants to admit. We don't use our phones because we love them. We use them because they make it easier than sitting with ourselves. And for creatives, that's dangerous. Because every second you spend numbing your brain with endless input is a second you lose to your own ideas. You can't receive inspiration when you're full of everyone else's noise. That's when I started asking, if I'm this plugged in, when do I actually get to be me? And that's when I decided to change. Not by deleting every app, but by reclaiming what I call intentional time. Time that belongs to me, not the algorithm. So after all this research, self-reflection, and mild panic about how our brains are melting, you're probably wondering what's actually working for me. And to be clear, I'm not anti-phone. I love a good scroll through the dumpster fire that is Twitter as much as the next person. But what I've learned is that it's not about deleting everything. It's about designing how your phone fits into your life instead of the other way around. And for me, that started with HMD's Barbie phone. Yes, that's what it's called. It's a cute pink flip phone that looks like a toy but acts like a boundary. There's something about physically opening and closing it that feels almost ceremonial, like, okay, I'm done talking to the world now. It's fun, it's nostalgic, and it reminds me that being reachable 24/7 isn't the same thing as being available. Then there's my Unihertz Titan 2, which I like to call my work mode phone. It's this chunky little device that looks kind of like a BlackBerry and has a full keyboard. I refuse to install any apps on it. There's no TikTok, no Instagram, or even email. I just use it for text and calls during work hours. It's what I restrict myself to when I want to focus without distraction, but also be reachable to my family. The result? My mind feels cleaner, my ideas feel louder, and I actually finish things. Now, some people swear by dumb phones like the Minimal Phone or Light Phone 3, both designed to do less. And I get the appeal. These devices strip away the noise entirely. No social feeds, no notifications, no endless doom scrolling, just the essentials. They prove that you don't have to go off the grid to protect your peace. You just have to choose a different grid. I'd love to test those phones out. If any of you out there listening have tried them, let me know what you think. To be honest, the biggest shift for me hasn't even been the tech. It's the low dopamine mornings I now live for and crave. No phone, no sugar, no news, no instant stimulation for the first hour of my day. I'm not gonna lie, the silence felt weird at first, like something was missing, but now it feels like breathing again. My ideas come through cleaner, my to-do list looks smaller, and I don't start my morning absorbing the energy of random people online. I am now in full control of my own morning. And of course, there's my absolute favorite concept, the 1950 rule. It's simple. If you're stressing about something that didn't exist in 1950, it probably doesn't deserve your peace in 2025. In 1950, you wouldn't have cared about an immediate text back. You wouldn't have been doom scrolling your ex's stories. You'd have lived your life and maybe called them once from a house phone. So when I feel that digital anxiety creeping in, I ask myself, would this have mattered in 1950? If the answer is no, I let it go. I'm gonna be super real with you about how this entire realization came to be. One of my girlfriends is horrible at texting back. You know who you are. Sometimes she'll reply the same day, and sometimes that asshat will text me back 3 days later like nothing happened. It used to drive me absolutely insane, until the day I accidentally macrodosed on shrooms while fully believing I was microdosing. So picture this, I'm starting to trip. I'm leaving all my best friends' voice notes one after another, spreading love like Oprah with free cars. And when I go to leave this particular friend a message, something hit me. If we were besties in 1950, we wouldn't even have smartphones. No texting, no bubbles, no leaving each other on red, no anxiety spirals over reply times. And something about that hit me pretty damn hard. I haven't looked at texting or delayed replies the same way ever since. Because the truth is, it's unprecedented for humanity to be connected at this level. We simply weren't built to communicate in real time 24/7 with every single person we know. So the 1950 rule was born. And honestly, it saved me so much stress. These shifts, the Barbie phone, Titan 2, low dopamine mornings, the 1950 rule mindset, they've all helped me reclaim the one thing I didn't realize I'd lost: inner peace and quiet. So here's my small challenge to you. Try one of these things for a week, just one. See how it feels. See what changes when your phone stops being your pacifier and starts being your tool again. I promise, you'll still be reachable. You'll just be more you when you answer. You don't have to throw your phone into the ocean to feel free again. You just have to hear from a few people who did something about it. And it's not just regular people either. Even some of the most famous creatives in the world have made drastic changes to protect their attention. Ed Sheeran hasn't had a phone since 2015. Let me say that again for the people in the back. One of the biggest artists on the planet, one of the most streamed human beings alive, simply opted out. He said, actually, I don't need to be reachable 24/7, and moved his whole life to email. No notifications, no buzzing, no tiny screen hijacking his morning. He literally said his phone was making him lose real-life interaction, so he just stopped using it. Imagine being so globally famous that 10,000 people have your number, and instead of drowning under it, you choose stillness. That's a level of boundary I aspire to. And then there's Dolly Parton, who has never bothered learning modern communication at all. She doesn't text, she doesn't email, she doesn't scroll. If you want Dolly, you've got to fax her. And honestly, that boundary is iconic. Dolly figured out before any of us that not everybody deserves instant access to your mind or your time. She protects her peace by controlling her availability, and people still manage to reach her when it matters, because they always will. Her whole philosophy is proof that you don't have to live on your phone to stay relevant, productive, or connected. These aren't obscure stories. These are massive mainstream examples of what it looks like to reclaim your attention and redefine what being reachable actually means. If Ed Sheeran and Dolly Parton can prioritize presence over pings, maybe the rest of us don't need to feel guilty for wanting the same. But you don't have to be a global icon to feel the difference. Regular people are seeing results too. Kevin Roose, a tech journalist from the New York Times, realized his brain was fried. He was unlocking his phone over 100 times a day, scrolling between apps like his brain was running on autopilot. So he did something small. He wrapped a rubber band around his phone. That tiny pause made him stop and think before every unlock. Then he deleted the dopamine apps, locked his phone in a safe at night, and started doing pottery instead of doom scrolling. Within a month, his screen time dropped from 5 hours a day to 1. He said, "For the first time in a long time, I feel human again." And I love that, because that's what this whole conversation is really about, remembering how to be human again. Then there's Isara Wilkins-Gomer, a UX designer who basically hucked his way out of phone addiction like it was a bad design flaw. He had his partner set a parental control password so he couldn't re-download apps, turned his iPhone grayscale, dimmed the brightness, blew up the font size, and turned off every notification. The result? A $1,000 brick that could call, text, and navigate, nothing else. He said it felt like relief. He wasn't reaching for his phone constantly, he was reaching for his life again. It's wild how peace and productivity come rushing back the moment you stop giving your phone unlimited access to your mind. Then there's the expert proof. Dr. Justin Romano, a child and adolescent psychiatrist, gave a TED Talk where he called smartphones the most pervasive addiction in human history. He explained how developers figured out how to trigger dopamine, not with a substance, but with code. He even called it a super addiction because your phone isn't just one vice, it's all of them. Gambling, shopping, porn, social media, validation, all in your pocket, all legal, all free, and all engineered to keep you hooked. His message was simple. If we don't name this problem, we can't fix it. And maybe my favorite line comes from another writer, Leonid Bershidsky, who turned off all his notifications and slowed his responses, and no one even noticed. He said, "We overestimate the need for immediacy." And that one hit me hard, because maybe what we're all really addicted to isn't just the screen, it's the illusion of urgency. The truth is, every person who took back their attention found the same thing on the other side: peace, focus, and a clearer sense of self. Because when you unplug from the noise, you plug back into yourself. Presence isn't an app, it's a choice. So if you've been listening and thinking, wow, I do that too, you're not alone. This isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. About realizing how much energy you've been giving away and deciding to take some of it back. The goal isn't to live without your phone, it's to live without feeling owned by it, to scroll with purpose, to choose presence over pressure, to remember that your attention is your most valuable currency and that the world is constantly trying to spend it for you. Reclaiming your attention is the first step towards peace, and peace is where your power lives. Because sometimes the kindest thing you can do is be real. I'm Ram, and thanks for getting real with me today. If you're still holding your phone, maybe put it down now.
Crack is whack.
You just finished listening to I Mean This in the Nicest Way Possible, written and produced by Richard Armand Mills.